You won't believe what just went down on live TV, a total demolition that left jaws on the floor. Picture this: a smug British host, Peter Codwell, thinking he's got the upper hand in a heated debate on Israel and Palestine. But then comes Barrister Frank Magennis, armed with razor-sharp facts, unshakable fire, and zero tolerance for BS. Frank didn't just debate, he exposed the hypocrisy, called out the propaganda, and turned the tables in epic fashion. This wasn't some polite chat, it was a verbal knockout that exposed raw truths about genocide, racism, and human rights. If you're tired of biased media spin, buckle up, because this clash is a wake-up call you can't ignore. Hit that like button, drop your location in the comments, and subscribe now. You don't want to miss breakdowns like this. Let's set the scene. The world's eyes are glued to the Israel-Palestine conflict, a powder keg of division and high stakes. Most guests tiptoe around it, but not Frank. He stormed in with evidence, passion, and a moral backbone that refused to bend. This wasn't your average TV spat, it was a lawyer taking on a media heavyweight, shredding the scripted narrative, and spotlighting what he saw as straight-up lies peddled in real time. Frank's no stranger to backlash. He's been slammed by his own legal buddies, iced out by the profession, and vilified for standing up for Palestinians on national TV. But did that stop him? Hell no, it fueled him to go harder. What unfolded was a showdown between a journalist who thought he was untouchable and a barrister who said, "Not today." Frank's responses didn't just sting, they left scars. Dive in with me as we break it down. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, Peter. Great to be back. How's it going? Fine, thanks. I just want to know why you think Palestinians reasserted their humanity on October 7th. Am I getting your words right? The key point is Israel is run by fascists, they admit it themselves. Finance Minister Bezalel Smotrich straight up calls himself a fascist. Israel's an apartheid state committing mass murder against Palestinians. But let's talk Hamas if you want. I'm happy to get to Israel later, but on Hamas, you said Palestinians reasserted their humanity on October 7th. Interesting you bring up Hamas. My speech didn't mention them. You talked about Palestinians reasserting humanity that day. Oh, so you're lumping all Palestinians with Hamas? That's the exact logic behind genocide. No, I didn't say that. Let's keep this civil. You said Palestinians reasserted humanity on October 7th. How? It's clear, the fascist apartheid state of Israel crammed over 2 million people into a concentration camp because they're seen as a racial threat, just for not being Jewish. That's an attack on their dignity. No one should live like animals. When you treat people that way, they'll always fight back to reclaim their humanity. So, you think bulldozing a fence, paragliding in, slaughtering, raping, torturing, and kidnapping hundreds, not just Israelis, but Thais, Americans, Nepalese, French, that's reasserting humanity? Resistance, not terrorism? You're framing this whole thing through a Zionist lens, huh? I've asked a fair question: resistance or terrorism? Are you pushing atrocity propaganda here? I'm the interviewer, answer the question. Your premise seems rooted in racist anti-Palestinian bias, providing cover. Why? Is it not true that a bulldozer breached the fence, people were raped, tortured, kidnapped, various nationalities, including Israelis, Nepalese, Americans, French, by Hamas? The British government is complicit in this genocide. You haven't touched on Hamas, Frank. You've jumped to Britain and Israel. I'd love to, but you're dodging my points. I'm saying you're peddling atrocity propaganda for a genocide your own government is involved in, based on vile anti-Palestinian racism. Why is mentioning what Hamas did on October 7th anti-Palestinian racism? We're 22 months into a fascist-led genocide, and you've picked the fascist side. Can you tell your viewers you're anti-fascist and oppose Israel's fascist apartheid as they slaughter Palestinians? Frank absolutely crushed that round. No flinch, no stutter, just direct hits on biased questioning. Peter revealed his cards early by equating all Palestinians with Hamas, showing he wasn't after fairness or facts. He was pushing an agenda: justify one side, demonize the other. But Frank flipped it with powerhouse truth, not just feelings, but law. Palestinians, like any occupied people, have a legal right to self-defense. UN Charter Article 51 says attacked populations can use force if necessary and proportional. Palestine lacks the military might for that proportionality: no tanks, no jets, no huge weapons. Still, international law backs their resistance. Frank wasn't spinning theory, he was dropping hard reality on a cornered people fighting for survival. What Peter called terrorism, Frank exposed as a basic human right to exist. I'm saying Palestinians have the right to armed resistance against an apartheid state genociding them. That's international law. But it's more than law. How do you stop genocide? Think about. Are you justifying October 7th? You cut me off again. Genocide stops with military force. Everyone should shout support for Palestinians using arms against the genocidal army. They should back any strategy Palestinians choose for liberation.